Welcome to the Dirty Penguin Presents Movies! Welcome to the Dirty Penguin Presents Movies! We are the Dirty Penguin. My name is Kevin Waits, and I am joined, as always, by my faithful Penguin co-hosts, Doug, Angie, Jesse, and Andy. We're in the igloo today. We're squawking dirty about Gigli. This is Jesse's pick. This is Jesse's contribution.
And it's time for Doug to give us those fresh movie facts.
Hit the theme. Fresh facts, buddy.
Give it to us straight, Doug.
Play the facts.
Give it to us straight, Doug.
All right, Gigli. This movie was made in 2003. Wow. We're going to do the Rotten Tomatoes. What's the Rotten Tomatoes? Is this fresh or rotten, everybody? What do you
rotten.
Beyond.
I think it was
absolutely rotten.
Can you get negative on Rotten Tomatoes? Is that a possibility?
27% rotten.
I know it.
Oh, you know it. 17% rotten.
I'm going low for this because this is always on low lists. I'm going to say 3%.
Just.
It's 6.
Oh, wow. Okay. It did get down there.
I was so close to saying 7.
It's 12% user
okay.
rating. The 6% is obviously the film reviewers.
Yeah.
We'll be lowering this to 5% after our review.
Oh my God. That movie was terrible.
What's the budget? Budget was $54 million.
How much did it make?
How much did it make?
Oh, God, I'm so bad at this.
And I only have the U.S. gross. I don't have the...
I can't imagine that it broke even.
I'm going to say it's Ben Affleck and Jennifer. I can't say it like too low. What was the budget? 57?
54.
54?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to say 10 million.
10 million.
10 million.
Wow, okay, so yeah.
Like super low.
They didn't break even. I don't think they got even, I don't think they
say
even
10
covered craft
I don't
services.
know. I'll give them 25 million.
7 million.
$6 million.
Oh, okay.
All right, some things about this. Jennifer Lopez was paid $12 million for her role.
Holy moly.
Ben Affleck was paid $12.5.
That's half your
Of
budget right
course.
there.
Yep, the patriarchy
Both.
continues.
Oh, I do have the worldwide gross. Both of their salaries combined are more than 3 times the film's overall worldwide gross of $7.2 million. This became the first film in history of the Razzie Awards to sweep all the top 5 categories.
Wow.
Well deserved.
The negative experience made this. Oh, this was directed by Martin Brest, who did
Great name.
Beverly Hills Cop, Meet Joe Black, Stint of a Woman, Midnight
Wow.
Run.
What?
So
he's
he's made
established.
some, he's
Wow.
made some good movies.
Yes.
So what happened here?
Well,
I mean, those are good movies.
and this obviously starred Ben Affleck, Jennifer Lopez.
Ugh.
I guess you could say Al Pacino and Christopher
Jennifer.
Walken.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of like
I'm not really,
Cameos.
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 yeah.
I would
But-
say not even supporting
No,
cameos.
just cameos.
And I didn't write the guy's name down.
I
who
named
was
cameos.
Doug in The Hangover.
Justin
the
Bartha.
brother.
Yeah,
Jason
Bartha.
Bartha.
Yes.
He's the connecting thread that I have for the theory that I'm working on, that this actually exists in the failure to launch verse, and he's actually that clumsy dude from the failure to launch movie, just all grown up and not a kid anymore.
Are we going to end up having to watch that stupid movie?
Maybe, I don't know.
With Matthew McConaughey,
do
right?
if we do a movies we hate part 2, that'll make my list because that movie
I don't
sucks.
remember the clumsy kid.
Failure to launch.
He's
Is that,
Justin Bartha.
is that the one
Just
where
a
he won't move out of
nerd.
Oh,
his mom's
he's
house?
in
A
it.
clumsy little nerd.
That's it. He won't move out of the
I've
house.
seen that movie too. I didn't
Yeah.
remember.
And because it's terrible.
I saw it for Sarah Jessica Parker.
Yeah. Go ahead, Doug.
Sorry.
You got
The
some-
negative experience making this film caused Martin Brest to retire from directing.
Oh my God! It pulled him out. It Connery'd him.
wow.
Is he okay? Do we know is he doing?
What happened?
something
What happened to
that
Martin
is-
Brest?
Should we check on him?
Gigli is Italian for lilies.
Okay. That's some research.
Halle Berry dropped out after originally accepting the lead role.
That's a good call.
Now, when
good
you
for
say
her.
lead role, she was originally going to be Gigli.
I think the lead actress role.
No.
I'm just
I can't imagine her. Well, How
I
many?
can't help but I imagine the plot changed once you had the J-Lo and
Ben Affleck.
Ben Affleck.
Well, I have
Bennifer.
Benifer. Yeah.
Once you got the Bennifer in there, I imagine the script changed.
They
Well,
met on this set.
The film started out as a straightforward mob film until Columbia, against Martin Brest's wishes, turned it into a romantic comedy
Comedy? Question mark?
to cash in on the relationship between Bennifer. As another quiz, how many times do you think the word fuck is said?
So many. So many in this movie.
It's a
162.
90-minute movie.
I would say,
This was only a 90-minute movie?
oh, God, it felt like so long.
I'm assuming.
It just never ended. 108 times.
157.
Y'all acting like it's South Park. It's 124.
No.
Okay.
Well, I knew it was in the hundreds.
I knew,
It-
well,
it- 'cause
because
it-
South Park holds the record for the most, right? I knew
But
that.
that's a TV
and-
show.
No, in the movie.
Oh.
And their movie, the South Park Bigger, Longer, Uncut.
Oh, I'm thinking
Oh.
the
They-
shit
yeah,
on the TV show.
yeah.
When they counted it.
They
Okay.
counted it down.
Yeah.
But the movie holds for
Okay.
most
does it?
fucks. And I knew that was, it had to be, because there was like, it was like 180 something, 180 fucks in the movie. And so it couldn't have been more than that. You know, it couldn't have been that many fucks. But I'll tell you what, a fuck I didn't give about this movie is a lot of them. Because this movie to me felt like a really, really, well, let me rephrase this. It felt to me like, and I just learned that Bennifer met on this movie. It felt to me like Jennifer and Ben were like in bed together one day and they're like, we should do a movie together. And like Ben's like, yeah, we should do a movie together. Yeah, and we should be totally badass too. Yeah, like totally badass. And the whole time that they were having this conversation, the movie Get Shorty was on in the background. Because this movie is a really bad ripoff of Get Shorty. Same like style of music. Ben Affleck is playing that same John Travolta-esque character. The one thing I didn't do, I'm almost positive that Get Shorty came out before. I think Get Shorty was 2001, 2000 maybe. But this was a really bad ripoff of that.
Well, I have one quick question. We looked it up, and he did Daredevil right before this.
Oh, okay.
So when was he, to us, the Gossip Crew, when was he and Jennifer Garner? That was after, because they just got divorced.
Yes. It was right after. He went on to the next Jennifer after this Jennifer. Pretty soon after.
So we went from J-Lo
Well, how long were they
And
together?
they were married for 10 years.
And how long were
Oh,
J-Lo and...
Not very long.
about I'd say 2 at the most, because they met in 2003
during this movie?
during the movie, and then it came out, and they were still together. They kind of had to ride the storm of the fallout from this movie, but there were lots of reports that went of the magazines they were following them pretty hard, and there were a lot of reports and rumors about Ben Affleck cheating and going to the strip club. What? So
Not Ben.
they tried. I mean, I really think she tried
Ben
to hold on to
Affleck.
him. She tried to hold on for dear life. Like she did not want to let this guy go. But I'd say they were together for 2 years.
So Jesse, this is your pick, must watch. Why do you hate this film? I mean,
Yes.
it's a mess. It's a horrible mess. I had no idea what I was. For the first 10, 15 minutes, I don't know if I'm watching a rom-com, a comedy, a mob movie. I don't know what it is. So for me, it's a big mess. But why do you hate it?
Okay, I have my top 3 reasons for hating this movie. And one of them, the top reason, is Jennifer Lopez's character of Ricky. I do not like how she was written. I think it was very lazy. I think it could be a little bit sexist even because of what they were making her say and making her do. And a lot of it sexist, maybe. It was really at the very least, it was lazy writing to a lead female character. And I can get more into that. Like, as we talk about it, I would happily point out, oh, this is an example of what I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm. I would agree with you, but expand that. The whole movie is lazy writing.
Well, that's my third reason. So my second reason, first is the character of Ricky. Second is Ben Affleck's terrible acting, just in general. He has been. Can I tell y'all a story? Just real quick. It's not going to take too
Bring
long.
it.
It started about 1990.
The year was 1990.
The year was 1990. This is a story of my youth. I was in 5th grade, and our class had to sit through this super boring video series of a group of people that get on a boat and they go in the ocean and they whale and they sail and then we're supposed to write down. We're supposed to learn something, and we do these like learning exercises.
Real quick. You said whale?
Whaling.
Okay. So this is like in the 1800s type story.
No, they just went to learn about sea life and whales.
Was it a bunch of kids?
It was called The Voyage of the Mimi. Does this sound familiar to anybody? Do you remember this?
When you said whaling, I thought they were like killing whales.
No, they were learning about whaling.
Oh, okay.
They were learning about whales
in
and
5th
They
grade
were killing whales too.
for science class.
Yes.
We had to watch it, and we were
So
supposed to be
boring.
learning because they were supposed to be like
Yes.
surviving in the ocean, and we're supposed to learn how to survive. Like
Yes.
what?
We had to do all these like little
Yes.
projects. They'd be like, okay, we're watching part 3 of Voyage of the Mimi today.
Can't wait to find out how this ties into
Okay.
Gigli. I'm
Real
on
quick,
the edge of my
real
seat
quick,
right now.
please join us for Dirty Penguin Presents The Voyage of Mimi.
Voyage of the Mimi.
Well, me and Angie will be an offshoot with me and Angie. So, this is on YouTube, by the way. I just recently looked this up for fun because this is what I do in
For
my
fun
spare
too.
time. And this little mop top boy of, let's say, 10 years old, hi, I'm Ben Affleck, and this is my story of me and my grandpa on the Voyage of the Mimi. Join us. This was made in 1984. This guy has been acting since at least 1984. And I just wanted to point that out because a lot of people think that Good Will Hunting was his breakthrough, and it was. I mean, he got the Oscar and all of that stuff, but he's been in the industry since at least 1984. He was around 9, 10, 11 years old.
When
He's-
truly broke out
He's been in the industry long enough to have at least
No
been able
excuse
to
for this.
to
for
act.
his role.
There was no excuse for his interpretation of Gigli. I don't care if he blames the director.
So my question,
Yes.
was he better in Revenge of the Mimi or in Gigli?
Voyage of the Mimi.
Voyage of the Mimi, sorry.
Voyage of the Mimi. I mean, I really believe that that was his grandpa.
So are
And
you
they were whaling and sailing.
Are you a
were
Ben
tricked.
Affleck fan? Like, do you enjoy Ben Affleck movies? Or
I
do you think he's
actually-
a good actor? Or?
I actually prefer the movies he writes and directs. I
I-
like The Town. I really liked The
The
Town.
Town.
Boom.
It's
The
so
Town
good.
is fucking awesome.
That's where he was going, I think.
Yeah,
That is
The
a
Town.
really good
that
movie.
is fucking, and I'm really excited about. There's a new one he's got coming out where he like plays a dude on a team. I don't
And-
know much about it, but it's on Netflix.
Just real quick to that. In The Town, he plays like a straight, tough guy. And you're like, you
Exactly.
can do it. What happened here?
Mhm. Nail on the head. My very first note. I don't believe Ben Affleck as a collector. Not at all.
No.
That's
No.
opens with him like beating the shit out of some dude in
In
a
the dryer.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, I don't believe it.
No, I don't
No,
buy it.
Not at all.
And it's funny you mentioned that it was like a ripoff of Travolta because in my notes, I was just like, why does he sound like he's imitating John Travolta? He has a very John Travolta vibe at the very beginning of
I'm
the
telling
movie.
you,
And I'm just
whomever
like,
wrote this,
is he
had-
trying to
It's-
do Travolta?
Martin Brest wrote
Well,
and
but I mean,
directed.
he was done. This was in L.A., right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Why does he have that accent?
I know.
She said,
That's
"Is
one
this
of
where
my-
you grew up?" Yeah. Well, why are you talking like this? I don't understand.
That's one of my issues. It
Go ahead.
It's
Go
just,
ahead.
it
It's your
leads
movie.
me.
Go
It
ahead.
leads me to number 3, which is the plot hole's so big that you can drive a truck through. I mean,
Yeah.
why are they in LA? Just put every single character has some sort of New York northeastern accent. Fine. Why are you setting it in LA? Go to New York. That's where a part of the story takes.
Yeah.
At least part of the story is related to New York because that supposedly is the uncle, or no, the brother of the DA that they kidnapped. The teenage boy is a New York.
They couldn't.
He's
do-
a
Right?
DA. Yeah,
But
like
he's in New York.
You couldn't.
No,
do
I think he's LA. He's an LA DA.
Oh my
Because
gosh.
there's stuff going
Yeah.
on. There's
Okay.
like mob boss stuff
That's
going on in LA, but there's also stuff going on in New York. I
Well,
think,
I mean,
right?
they,
Well, the
Al
guy who's
Pacino is the one.
No, he's a federal prosecutor, so
Okay.
he does the whole country, and I think he just happens
Good
to
point.
be in L.A.
Very
to
good
do
point.
the U.S. government.
Got
What I didn't understand, we couldn't do the Baywatch.
Oh, true. That
You-
is a huge part of the story.
Oh,
yes,
that's
that's
right.
true.
You
But they
wouldn't
could
be
have
able to
done
do that
Jersey
anyway.
Shore.
Right. Take me to the Jersey
Take me
Shore.
to the Jersey Shore.
Nah.
And
No,
then was
yeah.
Snooki?
Yeah, I know.
I don't know. But
So
it's
that's your
just
three.
bad.
That's your reasons
Well,
why you hate this film.
I mean, the third one pretty much, that's a pretty big umbrella to
What-
fall under. It's the plot, really. The plot doesn't make sense. There's a lot of plot holes. So I just kind of put that in there as a, that's a major problem.
Mm-hmm.
And I have a lot of, instances where I think I can prove that.
I mean,
But
I guess it's a bad movie. I think everyone here will agree with that.
it's
Absolutely,
yeah, it's horrible.
100%.
I watched it the first time and I thought, why does she hate this movie? Like, there's reasons like why Kevin hates his movie and why. Well, we haven't gotten to Andy yet, but why Angie hates her movie and why I hate my movie. This was just a bad movie. I didn't know if you had like some expectation going in that it was supposed to be good. I can't imagine. But then I watched it the second time and I hate this movie.
Yeah.
Oh
Thanks,
my
Doug.
God.
I
There's
hate
a lot
this
of weird
movie.
stuff going on in the movie besides it just being a mess. Besides the not making a lot of sense. The little brother character.
So problematic.
It's very
It is.
I have
problematic.
such a
like,
such a
I'm
big
not
problem
sure
with that.
if he's
The Justin
Well,
Bartha character?
Yes.
I'm not sure
Yes.
if it's well depiction of somebody with
With
that
Down
sort
syndrome?
of
I think it's
real quick.
No,
do they ever
whatever
say what he's
handicap it is.
supposed to have?
No.
Do they ever say what handicap he's supposed to have? Because it's not Down syndrome.
I think that's what he is trying to portray.
Really?
though.
Well, but
I mean,
that's a
I
poor
thought he was kind of
portrayal
being like an
because
absolutely.
it's
autistic kid. He kind of like being a Rain Man, but with no.
I agree. I thought it was supposed to be like a Rain Man
somewhat-
thing.
Yeah.
I did immediately think of Tropic Thunder with Robert Downey Jr.
oh,
You
yeah,
never
you
go
never go full
full
retard. Yeah.
But his character is so problematic. However, listening to Jesse's reasons, okay, so your number one reason was because J-Lo's character is sort of a feminist reason. She's not a well representative or well written female character. But she's
Yes,
also
I-
like the smartest character in the
No,
film.
here's-
no,
she
real
reads
quick.
a book.
That doesn't
She-
mean she's automatically wonderful.
no. Here's my deal, and
Well
it could be just completely wrong. But when I'm listening to her, I'm like, did a teenage boy write down his ideal woman on
Exactly.
paper and then proceed to write a character based on that?
Exactly.
Because
Yeah.
she is the hottest,
Yes.
the smartest,
Yeah.
the toughest. Everything,
She's-
every
Can
like.
diffuse a situation.
Yes.
With,
Yeah, I'm
just,
with words.
Yeah.
I've
And-
never
She's
been
the-
attracted to
she's-
J-Lo, but I wanted to thank Jesse for making me watch this film because I found her attractive in this
Oh
film.
man!
Yeah, they-
wow.
This
I
is
was like, when she
oh,
walked
wow.
in
I
at the
didn't
very
know
beginning,
J-Lo
I
was
was like,
attractive.
wow, like
Yeah.
this is why people like J Lo.
Yeah,
Well-
she made me able to watch the whole film.
the
Her
and I think
scenes.
what you're describing is she has no backstory of how she gained all this knowledge.
Yes.
And she has no reason for us to believe why she is
Right.
such great at everything. I mean, I was having the same conversation. She's the
mean, don't-
the stereotypical Mary Sue character where she can do everything perfectly all the time and everything goes her way regardless of what happens around her.
all while looking fabulous.
Fabulous.
But don't get me
And-
wrong, the whole yoga scene is completely gratuitous. The whole idea when she's doing the yoga just so we can watch
I
her
thought it was
stretch
very,
her body
it
just
was
so
very
we can.
intricate to the plot.
It was
Oh, yeah.
it is intricate to the plot because I think that is the plot.
It's supposed to make him like want her, like
Because that's
plot-
what
the plot is
she's
so-
supposed to be doing that to him,
Well,
right? That's
but-
making him like drop his guard. That's the whole plot.
I didn't see a
No.
problem.
No,
I didn't see a problem necessarily. Well, some of the writing she had was bad. She just couldn't pull it off.
no,
I
that
think
was
that
my deal.
was-
Like a lot of her dialogue, she didn't sell it, and a lot of the words they had her saying, I'm like, she didn't know that word before she read it on that script.
Yeah, that's absolutely. There was
I don't know.
lazy writing and lazy acting. Well, and I guess by de facto that would be lazy directing too,
And-
because it's the director accepts that performance, but I mean, does it get stronger?
Well, we never
by
really know what's
J-Lo?
going on between the directors and the actors. That's why it's really hard to just blame the actors all the time. And I do, not to say, oh, I feel sorry for actors, but they are the ones that put themselves out there and get most of the heat when these things happen, which is surprising in this case because Martin Brest retired, was driven out of the industry, and J-Lo
So funny.
and Ben Affleck have recovered quite nicely. So
Well,
I feel
and that's what.
I feel okay talking about this like the huge failure that it is because they're fine.
Yeah, and that's why I say like it falls on the shoulders of the director when you have like criticism like that, feedback like that, where it's yeah, you're not believing the actor. That's them. That's first take, right? Maybe that's first take.
Yeah.
But it's the director's fault for accepting that and making that into the final cut. You know, that's not the only take they did, unless there was, and I don't know if there, I didn't read any of the history on this movie. Did J-Lo or Ben Affleck just strong? No, that was the take. We're going to do this in one shot. We're good to go.
Here's my deal. Both of them are supposed to be these like go-to fixers and badasses, but
Yeah.
I don't
believe it.
I didn't believe it on either one
I
of them.
don't think that they're supposed to be that. She is a badass. And like earlier, somebody said his poor acting, they didn't believe him as a collector. You're not. I don't think you're supposed to believe that he's a good collector. He's bad at what he does, which is the whole reason the guy who hires him hires her to watch him do the job. The whole thing is ridiculous. You know, why wouldn't you just hire her to do the job?
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess it's your plot point. It's how you're getting these two characters together, so you do it. But he's not a badass. He's bad at what
I
he
don't
does.
think so. I think he's a subpar gangster, and I think his first mistake was letting her into his apartment. In general, yes.
What are you
Angie,
talking
do you
about?
concur?
But
It's one of my
that's why
notes.
they use the
I'm
hot,
like,
she plays the hot babe
well,
to get in the
but
door.
here's the thing: this pro, he's supposed to be professional, even if he's subpar. I'm not a professional, but if I kidnap somebody, I know not to let some random person into my
Again,
house
He's bad at what he does.
to
Which is why
see
they hire
this
her.
person.
What are y'all talking about? He literally said he's like the king
He-
thug. He made a whole big rant about how great he was.
Because you know
I
there's
don't-
bulls
And-
and then there's
cows.
and she's the cow.
I fucking forgot about the bulls and the cows.
Bull
Oh my
cow.
God.
Bull cow.
I don't.
Ugh.
I don't understand. I don't understand a lot of the writing.
It's
So that's
it's
the first-
basic.
Oh,
It's
the
basic
writing is terrible.
kidnapping 101. Don't let people come in and be potential witnesses to your kidnapping.
I'll tell you, the first time the
Exactly.
film really fooled me, Chris Walken walked in the door, and I was like, "Oh, this is gonna be good."
Oh, so
and he did this whole
disappointed.
nice scene, and I was like, "Oh, so
Feel so
Chris
bad
Walken's
for
gonna be
him.
jumping
I
in
don't-
and out, and always on his
Nope.
tail, and you never see or hear from the man again."
Nope.
Nope.
Talk about a throwaway character.
Cameo.
Here's all you need to know is if you have enough money, you can get Christopher Walken to do a scene. You can get Al Pacino to do a scene. And Christopher Walken, I even said, man, they need to. If I have to dump a bunch of exposition, I need to hire Christopher Walken because he was interesting, you know, and he's going on about I want to go to Marie Callender's and get a
Yep.
pie, and you're like, what? Like, I don't.
I felt with stuff added just for him. We got
Oh,
Christopher Walken.
absolutely.
We need to come up with
We
something
need
weird.
He needed
dialogue
more.
for Walken.
He needed more.
Well,
cowbell.
you
So we're going to go to the Marie Callender's.
I don't think
Dude.
he had to bribe these people. He was on the director I'm talking about. Had
Had the
all of
clout,
those films
yeah.
behind him to give him the clout,
the credibility.
to get these people to sign on without much of a. I mean, he's probably
Yeah.
friends with Al Pacino.
Yeah.
It's possible.
Probably.
So
I mean, he got Al Pacino a Oscar with Sin of
Yeah.
a Woman.
Yeah.
exactly. So
It's just how do you make Scent of a Woman get an Oscar and then
Sin of-
make
so,
this? It's so
Sin of
bad.
a Woman, not to get derailed on this.
Booyah!
That is, go back.
Hooah!
If you go,
booyah.
Did you say booyah?
Is that where booyah came from?
if,
No.
if you go back to that movie, it does not hold up very well.
Oh, really?
No.
It's not
I
a
don't
good
know.
movie.
I don't
Which
think
one?
I've seen that whole movie.
And
Sin of a Woman.
yeah.
It doesn't hold up very well.
Yeah.
Ben Affleck has a lot of like rants,
Mm-hmm.
and every one of them is unbelievably cringe-inducing.
Yes, cringe.
He's the Sultan of Slick. He's the gangster of gangsters. I was like, really?
Yeah, again,
'Cause
I
you-
don't,
you look
when
like-
you're watching, I don't know which lines are the comedy and which are the like. Yeah, it's just so it was a mess.
And I don't know what they were trying to do. Were they trying to make a? It's like it's all over the place. They never like decide on what they're trying to
Yeah.
make.
Why? Why? What were they going to do with the kid anyway?
just
That's my-
I mean, just aside from it being a bartering tool of getting Al Pacino's money back.
No, getting him off
Oh,
charges.
getting him
Oh,
off
off
the charges.
Get him
yeah.
off the charges.
I mean,
They were just going
What
to
were they
keep
going
him.
to do with them?
with his cut off finger that they wanted
Right.
to cut off.
So were they trying to go for like a yin and yang where he's kind of stupid and she is like the smart one? Because so when they did that scene with the whole eye in the cafe,
Mm-hmm.
What's it called?
Oh, you
And-
mean the?
I agree. Hold on, don't say it. I agree. I imagine this is how I imagine this happened. Like that was like they filmed the entire movie, and this is the very last scene, and they're like, "We're just gonna do it in one take." And so she goes to the whole eye thing and blah blah blah, and then he walks up and he's like, "A computer, suckmydick.com," and breaks it, and then everybody clapped. Like, yes, we did this movie. But it was like she does this whole thing about her eye and blah blah, and then he comes behind her, suckmydick.com. Like, are you like a 10-year-old? Like, what's wrong with you?
Back to my point. It's a lot of these characters were written like
terribly
from a teenage boy perspective. Like, what would be tough right now? Suckmydick.com would really like sell it.
I think that's where the movie is trying to be funny, is how stupid and dumb he is. Like, you're supposed to laugh at that. You're not supposed to think he's a badass for breaking the computer.
No, we're not supposed to.
It was just cringy. I just
It was-
thought
yeah,
it
it was-
was so weird.
Yeah.
It didn't really, I don't know.
They make him unlikable, I think. I mean, I get your point. I get your point there, and I agree with you. He's stupid. He's not.
No, I think they want you to like him. I think they want you
Really?
to be endeared by him.
I agree.
You think?
Oh, the
'Cause
poor
they missed
dumb
the mark.
guy.
I think that's
what they're
the
going
goal
for.
of it too. I think
well,
they
maybe
want you
that's
to
another
feel sorry
underwritten-
for him.
Yeah, and
That's
they felt,
another underwritten character
and-
of the male lead, then, because that didn't make me feel that way. I don't see at all what J-Lo's character would ever see in him.
No.
He's like a little puppy dog.
And every time that they were supposed to be having like an intense or a very like deep one-on-one like exchange, I realized that it was supposed to be like heartfelt or something because the music started playing. You know, you got the musical
You got the
cue.
heartfelt music
You got the
theme,
musical
the-
cue
strings.
playing in the
high
background.
piano.
And yeah, and I'm just like, he's just super cringy. I'm not feeling this like interaction that they're having. He comes across as like juvenile in almost all of his
Very much so.
diatribes and all of his rants, all of his like little explosions that he has. It's just
And
bad. It's badly written.
J-Lo to just, she wants me.
Right?
And really believes it, not
Yep.
joking around. Like she
Well, I
wants me.
mean, I
that
don't know.
machismo.
I don't know if you could
right?
argue that maybe that's the character. Is that the character coming through where he's so
Where did he-
he's such a dumbass kind of like thick meat-headed idiot.
Aw.
Well,
I just love that.
There you go.
I know,
That's,
right?
That's what they were doing.
Exactly. But he's such a meathead that I mean, oh God.
Well, but
no.
Are we supposed to-
I
even
don't
when she
believe that at all.
says,
not
she calls him out on it. And when, because he's the master at cunnilingus and blah, blah, blah. And so then later on, she says, here, time for your heterolingus. And what does he start doing? Well, I don't want to be compared to a
backpedal.
woman. And,
Right.
it's not fair. Well, dude, you were like talking all the noise
Right.
an hour ago in this
you were
movie.
Big Bang Hank an
and
hour
now
ago.
all of a sudden when you're called out on it, he's like tail between his legs.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's another just part of the movie that kind of I think might be found offensive if you were to try to do it today.
Gobble, gobble.
Real quick,
Okay.
since
we're
you
getting-
brought-
we're
since-
getting
wait,
to-
we're
getting a
jumping
little
ahead
far.
a little bit. Back to the Christopher Walken scene. How does he know to get his house? Like, he went to Gilly's house for this whole exposition, but like, who is Gilly? How is he so well known that this is where he goes to?
I do have an answer for this.
You have an answer, okay.
I think he's a cop.
Uh-huh.
And I think Gigli is not one who is kind of known by law enforcement.
Yes, that's what
And
I got
so and they also know, I think that he even says it, he knows that Lewis works for Al Pacino and he works for Lewis. And when I think they tried to extort, he says, and later on you hear that they tried to extort the federal prosecutor by kidnapping the son. He knows that if they kidnap the federal prosecutor and they've tried to extort to get the charges dropped, then he must have done it because he works for Lewis. Or
Is he the only guy that Lewis has working for him?
But he may know.
Well, Jennifer Lopez.
It may just be one.
is too, apparently.
But it may just be one of those things where they know he works for Lewis, so maybe he knows something about it.
I think he's just well known in the small town of Los Angeles.
Well, that's just it. If he's so well known that the cop knows to go there to get his point across, how can he be this inept?
So can we sort of just talk about what the plot is, and then
Certainly.
just to kind of explain this.
Or the lack thereof.
What we think the plot is. It's no Vanilla Sky, right? Like there is,
This
they
is
want
all
this
over
to
the
be
place.
linear. This is, I don't think this is a lucid. It's a lucid dream.
That's what it is.
Open your eyes.
It's all from Justin
and when he
Bartha's
said-
perspective.
When he says bull cow, that's when the loop starts over again. I think.
No, this is all Lewis's perspective.
Yeah. So, okay, that's where we can start. So this guy, Lewis, is the boss. He's a gangster. He's a mobster. He's a little weaselly mobster guy.
I think he's
in
like
LA.
a lone shark.
Oh,
My-
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, that's exactly
Well,
what
that's
he is.
like
He's
a
a loan
mobster,
shark.
right,
Yeah,
kind of?
he's a loan shark.
My note
Or
on
he's-
him.
He's like middle management.
right.
He's like middle management loan shark.
But he verbally abuses
Oh, big time.
Larry Gigli.
Oh, big time.
Gigli.
Yeah, he's like
Giggly.
He's
Rhymes
the
with
Dennis
really.
Farina character in Get Shorty. He's
Oh.
that's
Oh,
So
okay.
real quick, we're positing that the reason Christopher Walken knows to go to his house is because we know that he works for Lewis. So then why is Gigli telling him how to pronounce his name at the beginning of the movie if he's been working for him?
I think he says that to him to annoy him.
Yeah.
I think.
Well, but then after a while, you're just like, fuck off,
Giggly.
and just let it go.
Again, it starts
It starts bad.
a plot hole.
And
Exactly.
my first note on
this
him
is
was,
a bad movie.
is he supposed to be a boss? Because he looks like a smarmy porn director.
Yeah.
And
He
then
might
Lewis?
be. And
Lewis.
very well might be
Yes,
also.
absolutely. I wanted to talk about Lewis. You want to talk about not believing a character
Being a good.
in that role?
Yeah.
Fuck Lewis, man. Nuh-uh. That dude needs to be like collecting change on the corner of Sunset and Pico. Fuck that dude.
So real quick. So just
The
because
homeless
just because
asshole.
Joe Pesci can pull it off and he's a little guy doesn't mean that every little
exactly.
slightly like New Yorker looking dude can pull it off. It was bad.
That was
So,
exactly. No.
Non-believable. We don't believe it. We start the movie going, I don't believe this. So.
Well, and I think you find out that Gigli isn't a very good guy because remember he says
He's beating some of the shit out of some dude in a dryer.
By good guy, I mean
That's-
he's not good at his job.
Yeah.
Where
Right.
because he comes back and he says, "Oh, I got half the money," and the guy's like, "Half the money."
Right.
And I think that's when he's like, "Man, this guy's worthless." You know?
Right.
Right. So let me put him on the biggest job I got
Right.
going on right now.
I don't.
So
I know this movie is about. I don't know why we are arguing of why this movie should make
should we just
sense.
wrap this up? Like,
No. People are surprised
Well, I'm trying
at
to
why
figure it
these
out.
things are
Maybe
happening.
y'all will help. Maybe we can all talk about
It's a
this
bad movie. That's why. And
figure it out.
I honestly think that someone just this was a project that was given to somebody, and it was all right. I'll get to it. I got this other project that's paying me more money. So the writer, whomever, I got this other project that's making me more money. I'm going to focus on that, and I'll push this over. I got 6 more weeks to work on this, and then 3 weeks later, I got another project that and then this script got put so far at the bottom of the pot, and then it was like how like the night before you had to turn in your essay in class in school, and you're like, oh fuck, I got to turn in that script tomorrow. And so the dude was
but
just
it
like,
was the director that wrote it.
I know. So he was like, shit, I gotta have this script treatment. So he just started flipping through the TV. Oh, look, there's Get Shorty. That's a good fucking movie. Oh, look, there's Chasing Amy. There's another good movie.
I think.
Boom. There's Rain Man. There's another good movie.
I think
Let's
he
just
was
put 'em all in
writing
one
it as
movie.
he went along.
Now I think it was a completely different movie,
And they
Yeah.
they made him change it to this
they made him
rom-com,
comedy it up.
and so it just kind of went off the rails.
And I believe that, but it just feels like I'm gonna take a bunch of pieces of other movies and just slam them into this movie, regardless of whether they fit or not. Because I mean, yeah, there's some gangster shit in Rain Man. There's the whole like the guy chasing the unattainable girl and Chasing Amy, right?
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
And then there's the whole Lone Shark, Get Shorty, I'm going to wear this black leather jacket and be tough guy. There's that movie part of it. And then I've been making other connections as we've been talking.
And the leather jackets,
Rocky.
they're the only ones wearing them.
yeah,
I know.
Oh yeah.
They're the only ones wearing black leather jackets, or like she's wearing a brown
Well, for
one.
some reason,
but like
they decided that they were like New York gangsters in
That's-
California
Yes.
with no reason for that. I mean, there's no
Right.
explanation, or
And
they're just like, if you're
Exactly.
going to be a gangster,
And
you got to be from New York.
Lewis is wearing a short sleeve
He's wearing a Hawaiian shirt.
Hawaiian
Bahama
shirt.
Mama
Yeah.
shirt or whatever.
He's wearing a Hawaiian shirt the whole time.
My note about
Whatever
that
that-
is
Bahama
East Coast-
Bucks
All right,
shirt.
so they kidnap the brother. Can we talk about
Can I-
Justin Bartha in this movie?
I would like to just start off this segment of Justin Bartha by saying both of these characters are horrible people because no matter what you feel about J-Lo, oh, she was nice, she said a couple nice things, she did a couple nice things, she is aiding and abetting a kidnapping of a person who needs care and help in his daily life. And he's a teenager. I think they say he's 18 to give it a little bit of like, we're not so horrible here that they're bad people the whole movie. But because I feel like the director wants you to also like, if you don't like Gigli, then you are supposed to like J-Lo. You're supposed to like the character of Ricky because she stops him a couple times from.
She's
he was
compassionate.
verbally, yes, she's compassionate.
Empathetic.
He was getting real. Gigli was getting irritated with Brian, the Justin Bartha character, a couple of times, and she comes in and she swoops in and says, "No, don't do that." Well, no, she's a bad person. She is involved. She is knowingly doing this, and just keep that in mind. It's
Well,
hard to remember because you're supposed to like these two
I
people.
think it's supposed to almost be a somewhat redemption story.
Oh yeah, I forgot
we
that.
go.
where they don't like, he's not compassionate towards the needs of, what was Justin Bartha's character? Brian. But then, as you know, toward the ends of the movie, they're, "Oh, I'm gonna miss you," or
They're like a family.
He's giving him good advice, on how to pick up women or whatever it is.
and they don't cut his finger off, and they don't wind up.
And I think that
killing him.
they're
we're
like,
supposed to give them kudos
Yes.
because they didn't kill him.
right. Well, but
Yeah.
I mean, the whole plot is they're kidnapping someone.
Yeah, and by the end of the movie, you do get the feeling or idea that they are done with their gangster lifestyles.
Yes.
Oh yeah, they're leaving.
Hence
they're
redemption.
leaving. The last note that I wrote, and this is the largest handwriting. Ugh, she came back.
Well, they did draw it out,
Wait,
right?
we're not-
Yeah.
Like the movie
We're not
feels
there.
like it ends
know,
like
I
6
know we're not
times.
there
Let's not go
yet,
there
but-
yet.
We're not there yet. Or
I have
are
a
we?
comment about that too.
Spoiler alert: she came
Oh,
back.
she came-
Don't watch this.
Real quick, so to your point about her not being a good person, first night he's there, Brian is there. He wants him to read him a story. He's like, I don't have any books, because he's a sociopath apparently, and who doesn't have books?
Not
in their
one
house?
book.
Not a single book. So he's reading him
But
like.
she had a book.
But she has a book that she's
Yes.
reading in the bedroom, and she's
Yes.
like giving him a hard time about just read him something. Give him the
She
book so
has
he
a
could
book.
read
Well,
him.
I-
And she doesn't offer
I
it.
felt the same
I think
way.
I got to
One
talk
is-
about this book.
The one
too.
enjoyable part of that movie was him reading the Charmin toilet paper.
and the Tabasco sauce.
And the Tabasco sauce.
No, but this book irritates me because it's called Being Peace. I don't know if y'all remember like the title, but it felt like I was supposed to know what she was reading. Being Peace.
Like it's like Eat, Pray,
she's
Love,
so
or whatever.
aligned.
Well,
her
here's-
chakras
here-
are
here's what
Exactly.
she sees from her
She's
third
zen.
eye.
Yeah,
Well,
you
so-
should just
and
be
she's
happy that she
messing
wasn't reading
around.
Sun Tzu.
And she's messing around with these people, and she's all like aligned and ugh.
But that's how they
I
try to
know,
make
it's
her
gross.
come
It doesn't
across
make
the whole
sense.
movie. They try to make her like she's so enlightened.
Yes.
And she's got so
Yes.
much knowledge. And she's so
Nope.
much, like, she's so many levels above him in every possible way.
Right.
And it's just like, I don't.
And if she's
I
being
don't buy
hired by
it.
if she's being hired by
and why
Lewis
is she doing
too,
this?
Right?
If
It's-
she's also being hired by
Exactly.
Lewis,
But-
she ain't.
She's not that.
It's a professional situation.
She's also I think she's supposed to be the tough one. She's everything Gigli wanted to be, even with the fact that she has this ex-girlfriend show up, right?
So
That
not only
scene.
Gigli
Wait a
let
minute. We haven't
Jennifer
even
Lopez in. He lets the ex-girlfriend just walk right in.
The psychotic ex-girlfriend just come on into my kidnapping den.
Yeah, how about
Which,
that?
real quick,
That's how
why
much of
did
a-
he take the kidnapped victim to his apartment? That is where he lives, right? That is his house?
Yes.
I would say yes, because he's not smart, and this is a bad movie. That's why he took him back to his apartment.
But back to me, like, I am not a professional kidnapper, but wouldn't that be like kidnapping
We're
101?
gonna go to Motel 8 and
Or, just
Someplace
someplace
outside
where
We
of
go
LA.
to a safe house out in Pasadena. We don't go to my
some
place
abandoned
on
home.
in Santa Monica.
Even
That's
with the
in my
ex-girl-
name.
Even with the ex-girlfriend, though, they try to make Jennifer Lopez be like this wonderful person. Because remember, she in the hospital when they're sitting outside and they're watching him,
Mm-hmm.
and she's like bending down,
Yes.
and like
They're giving
it'll
the
be
imp-
okay. You know, Brian's penis is sneezing.
Stop! We gotta.
Oh,
That
that's
is
so
the
bad.
best thing about the whole film. Yeah, right there. That's their best joke. They put it right out there for you.
Okay, when I first saw this movie for the very first time in 2003, I do remember thinking.
Wait. You were part of the $6 million.
I didn't see this in the theater. No, I did. Well, I had to see this movie at some point to know I hated it.
Well, when you're saying you saw it in 2003,
I
I'm
did. Well,
assuming like you
whenever
were
it came
like
out, and then whenever it came out on DVD.
you had one
At
of those
Blockbuster?
instances where
That's right.
you go to the
Damn
theater
straight
and
Blockbuster.
you
Awesome.
get lucky and there's no one in the theater.
Hold on, you went straight to the theater to see it, and then you went straight to Blockbuster to get it again.
I didn't see it in the theater. I skipped the theater. I did see it when it came out on DVD. Of
Oh, okay.
course, I wasn't
Well,
going to miss this thing.
So tell me more about when you saw it in the theater.
We have security.
Let's go back to that.
We have security cam
Don't
footage.
try
I
to
wanna know more about
don't
that.
try
I wanna
to
hear
trick
more
me
about
into
it.
admitting it.
We have security camera footage of you in the theater.
Exactly.
Who is this?
Yeah.
Doug opens up his laptop.
Do you
Hits play.
recognize this?
Okay, so when I was at the AMC that night when I was watching this movie, I thought she was lying about being a lesbian. She made it clear early because he
I
was
did
hitting
too.
on her as soon as she
No, I
walked
did
in.
too.
He was hitting on her. So she
Y'all
goes,
thought
I'm,
she was lying?
I thought she
yeah,
was like giving
just to-
that just get the fuck
Yes.
away from me.
To
I'm a
the-
lesbian, okay?
Like girls do in clubs when they want guys to be like, no, I'm gay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
exactly.
Step away.
I believed that.
I mean,
doesn't stop me.
I've had that happen to me plenty of times. I know.
That just so y'all know,
Yeah, it doesn't
it
really-
kind of makes it hotter for guys.
Yeah,
You're
like-
"Ooh,
Exactly.
you just bring a friend?
Exactly. Exactly. Just,
Ooh,
okay.
God,
real quick. That comment that he just made is exactly why I think they made her a lesbian.
Yes.
And that
Oh,
goes
yeah.
back to my
The
point
10-year-old
that they
boy,
wrote
the-
her
yeah.
like a
That's 15-year-old
15-year-old boy wrote this character because not only is she the hottest, the smartest, the toughest, she's also a lesbian, which just amps it all like right up because maybe
Yes.
I can get in there with her girlfriend too.
Yeah.
So this
It
is
really legitimately comes across as
But that's why, again, what I started to say earlier, I don't think my point was quite made, is that as offensive as, say, the Brian character could be for some people,
Absolutely.
I
It
think
is.
her character could be offensive to the gay community, to lesbians.
yes, I think
because
so too.
Oh, yeah.
Of the whole,
Only because
especially
because
when
of
the
what
whole
happens
subject
later.
matter is handled, and by the end of the film,
She's back to Ben Affleck.
but is she? I don't. It's
Well,
so
that's
confusing.
what I got from that. She come to pick up Ben Affleck. Like, she came back. She came to pick up Ben Affleck, and they're going to go out together. And I mean, I don't know.
Yes.
Right. That's
Well,
what
her
I got.
sleeping with him in general,
Right.
even if they don't end up together, her just sleeping with him, only being with him for I don't know a week maybe,
Right.
and just I don't think
And
it,
that
it
totally
doesn't work
negates
like that.
her life, her entire belief lifestyle.
like
it
somehow
works like
Gigli
that.
was so awesome he managed to like
Right, he
change
was-
her
he's the
sexuality.
Yes.
He's the bull.
and speaking of poor accents, what was Al Pacino's accent in this movie?
Al Pacino's accent was Al Pacino.
It was Al Pacino.
He
We're
had
not
like some
there yet.
weird like lisp.
We're not
Well,
there yet.
Yeah, we're really not.
I think he was just so happy just to get his scene done and get out of there. Like I think he's
Well, exactly. One day.
that was one day.
I'm gonna be able to say-
We're gonna shoot this one day.
One day. Another guy.
you got me for one day.
all right. Since we are going linear, so
That's my phrase.
Booyah! I'm gonna keep saying booyah. Yes.
so after they the girlfriend slits her wrist, or did you want to talk
That's
about
just
that?
a
my
terrible
God.
scene. It was, and then they never ask about her again. It's such
Never.
a terrible. Never check in on her
Because
never.
it was all a plot device to get them
They had
from
to-
his house to the
Hospital.
hospital. It was
So
all
they could
thrown
steal
in there
the
as
body.
a contrivance.
The
That was all
thumb.
A
that was.
contrived
The
plot
finger.
point to get.
Who?
It was that was
Would
the
you-
contrived MacGuffin.
Well-
MacGuffin.
Yes.
That was the
And it
MacGuffin.
also brought the point home that she was actually a lesbian.
When I realized she was actually a lesbian, I was like, okay, this is crazy. I'm watching the girlfriend and she's mad and everything. But really, to go, first of all, then she offers to sleep with all of them. She goes, This was her plea. She comes back. I want you
Yeah, that was a
back.
good scene.
I need you back. She's mad. Then she comes back and she's
15-year-old boy.
Yeah.
exactly.
Oh, big time fan.
So
Yeah, you know,
She offers
I
this
said
to-
earlier
That's
that
what I'm saying. This dude wrote this while he was surfing through the channels on cable.
I think Showgirls popped up too on
Hey,
his
absolutely.
channels.
Must have.
Dude, I'm telling you,
Man.
this is like
Oh,
the every good part of a really shitty night on TV done badly.
Right. So okay, let me get back. I'm trying to remember the big fight with the girlfriend coming because that was just bizarre. I mean, she was
Bonkers.
going all over. Her emotions were all over the place.
She's going to roundhouse kick
They're
your
talking about
head
how
in.
did Christopher Walken know where he lived? How did
Yeah.
Oh, right? How did the
Good
girlfriend know?
point. Very. Thank you, Andy.
That
I
is
don't
a
know.
very
Jeez.
valid point.
I didn't even think about that. I was so confused by her actions.
because it's not
Even
even like
bigger
now
plot
where
hole.
you can like find my phone type deal.
Right?
So,
And the
That-
plot hole.
That was before.
gets bigger.
That was
but that's what I'm saying. It's
2003,
not like
right?
now where you can be like, I'm going to find my
Right.
girlfriend's
Well,
phone and see where she's at.
I did enjoy she needs a Band-Aid. I thought that was pretty fun.
yeah.
I mean, every single movie has that one time where you're like, ha.
I will laugh
Well, I mean, that's problematic.
just because it is slightly funny.
That's
I
problematic.
thought that was
Go ahead.
bless you, penis.
Yes, the problematic.
No,
Brian
that was not it.
He was the best part of the movie.
I
His-
just know.
his
I
singing?
found. I just
No.
okay.
Well,
I can't follow
the only
you there,
parts I've
Doug.
enjoyed were where
Christopher
Brian
Walken.
said something.
I thought of a way that could, since we're talking about Brian, I thought of a way that would have made this movie better. And tell me what y'all think. Instead of Brian, if Gigli was tasked with kidnapping a younger kid, a 10, 11, like a Macaulay Culkin character from Home Alone, and this little shit talking kid talks back to him and doesn't take his shit.
So,
And
So we're rewriting Gigli,
but you
to make
can't.
it work.
But like,
This is the
honestly,
this
that's a
is the
great
portion
fix.
of the show where if Jessica had her say and she would change one thing that would make this dumpster fire of a movie even better. I'm working on the
You
title
can't-
of this segment.
so-
I'll
I
have to
think I could-
shorten it. I think.
I think I could put a jingle to that.
but I think you got a great. I think that's a great. If you change that character to what the
I-
young Macaulay Culkin Home Alone
you
character,
couldn't
it's a
get
better
away
movie.
with kidnapping a child.
But
the
it would
problem
be,
is-
Well, you can be
Well,
a little. I
you
think you
give
can
up on
be
your
a
whole
little
plot
like
device of, is
edgy with
Baywatch
that.
okay?
Yeah, like more black comedy version
Yes.
of it.
They don't-
More
So,
like
so if
raising
we
it, like a
completely
raising
if we
Arizona.
completely rewrote this movie and made it decent,
Well, even if that one little change, if this little kid was just throwing it back at him, and then he's still getting frustrated and everything, and J-Lo still needs to be there to diffuse and to
I
make
think
sure
that
everything goes okay.
that
But-
would have been better. But then they wouldn't have been able to ignore
Oh.
him as much as they do.
Oh, I
because
didn't.
they ignore
You're
him.
right.
a
I
lot.
didn't say it would be good or make any more sense.
You know-
I just thought to make it a teeny bit better, more palatable.
More palatable.
So they cut the thumb off of the.
Okay, and that
okay,
was-
hold on, real quick. If you're going to take somebody's finger off and during the middle of a cat, who picks the thumb?
Right? Pinky, come on.
And
goes with the
did he
thumb?
use
Straight
a
to the
plastic
thumb.
knife? Was he using
Yes.
a plastic disposable knife?
Yes.
You
I
are
didn't
in.
catch that.
You're in the. Is it,
You're in a
you're in a hospital. Go get you
You
a.
have a brain saw.
That's how stupid he is.
in the morgue, so you know there's scalpels.
Go
There
get you a
has to be.
scalpel.
right.
My
you know
God.
there's like there's a thing that cracks the chest plate. It's like a
And I understand he doesn't want to make noise, so he's not going to like turn on a saw. But there's scalpels all over the hospital. Pick one. And how are you a gangster and you don't carry a knife around
Just
with you?
think if you've ever like cut chicken
True.
wings, like all from the flapper.
Those
and the,
little
and the-
claw things.
Sure.
Now imagine doing that with the plastic knife, because that's basically what he did. You know,
Yeah.
getting through the knuckle and all that. Like, there's
It's just a testament to his stupidity. It's just one more
It's just
piece
so
of proof
dumb.
that no one would want to ever hang out with this guy.
Well, the whole idea that was going to work anyway.
But that's the
A fake finger, somebody else's finger.
somebody else.
and it didn't work because
It
they
didn't.
that wasn't his finger, right? They
Yeah.
took they
no,
took
the
a handprint.
fingerprint was different.
The fingerprint. Yeah.
Yeah.
Booyah!
It's-
I'm just saying.
What you gotta do is you gotta make sure the fingerprint matches.
That's not what he says at all. I will say that was the one enjoyable portion of this movie for me. Was Al Pacino.
Al Pacino.
Just overacting the hell out
when
of
he
his scene.
shoots
He was-
Lewis
he
is
Al
probably
Pacino'd
the
that
best
scene.
moment of the. That's when the visual
Because
matches
everything
the movie.
he says makes complete sense.
And
What
just
you're talking about.
And real quick, he came across as scarier in the 5 minutes he was on this film than they did in the entire movie.
God. You hit the nail on the head.
I believed him. I believe that he will
do you know
kill
why?
somebody.
You know why?
Because he's Al Pacino.
Because he's a good actor. He's able to take his whatever short scene and his one day of shooting.
I guarantee
And
it
be
was
able to
one day.
convert
He
that.
said, "I'm gonna,
He-
out."
You got to one day.
He acted the fuck out of his scene. Like, he just...
No, he said you make someone fear you by being unpredictable. Or
Yeah,
whatever it
yeah.
was.
When he shoots,
No,
those
by not
guys.
giving a shit.
By not
I'm
giving a shit.
gonna do it.
Yeah. But he made everything he said made sense. And he like kind of picked the whole movie apart.
He
Like,
was kind of like, "Why did y'all
you even do
kidnap
that?
this dude?"
Exactly. He was the dirty penguin. He
was.
Like,
What
why
the hell?
fuck did you think you
This
could
was-
do this?
And
But
my problem with that
luckily-
scene, I was enjoying that scene so much, and then J-Lo opened her mouth, and she once again managed to diffuse the situation and buy them time.
Because
And
she's
it's
been
just like,
reading that book, Being Peace.
Right.
No, it's pronounced being peace.
Being
Being
peace.
Peace.
and
is
that
peace.
sigh was on purpose.
Yeah, don't edit it out. It was purposeful.
Being
Okay,
Yeah,
just
Al Pacino
wait.
just should have been ranting about how bad this movie is. This movie sucks.
it's what he essentially
No,
did.
I do it. And I can't believe you got me to do this. Breast, you're through.
You know, it reminds
You're
me
through
of.
this now.
It reminds me of Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back when Ben Affleck did his scene, and he's like, "Oh, sometimes you have to do a movie because you owe somebody a favor." Deadpan to the camera.
Yeah.
I was like, did he owe somebody a favor? Al Pacino owe somebody a favor?
Martin Brest, I think.
They
They
got
probably-
me
I
an
don't know.
Oscar.
I don't know.
And
They probably
okay,
just said, "Hey, how would you like?"
Christopher Walken was in this film.
I thought we'd be doing this thing together.
They said, "How would you like $2 million to work for one day?" He
Right.
said, okay, yes,
Yes.
yes, please.
So,
Q Andy. So,
Booyah.
and that real quick though, that is after what is quite possibly the worst line ever penned in a script.
What's that? Give it to us.
It's turkey time.
Ew.
Okay.
No.
Gobble gobble.
Yeah.
Gobble, gobble.
Gobble gobble.
It is the worst line.
I don't know what
ever
you're talking
penned.
about. Whenever it's like sexy time at the Harms household, it's
gobble gobble.
it's like it goes like this.
No.
It's turkey time.
No.
No,
Gobble gobble.
well, it's a little different. It's
What
a
do y'all
little
do
different
during
over here.
Thanksgiving?
It's a little different over here. It's, I just
All
go.
that turkey talk.
Oh. Angie's getting a little faint over here.
Pants drop.
It's so
Do you need your
getting warm
smelling
in
salts?
She can hear it from across the house.
I'm getting
Why?
Do you need some cold water
Yeah.
thrown on you?
Why are you turning red?
I'm getting the
Angie.
vapors.
And the
You're
vapors.
melting
It's the vapors.
That is so bad. It is. I find me a worse line penned.
Women love that. Yeah, that gobble gobble talk.
And she says it, and he's just like,
Yeah, it's
was that supposed to be sexy? Even for a lesbian, I don't think that would work. I don't.
Oh,
well,
and don't forget.
well.
Don't forget the
I don't
one
know.
thing we were watching this. So she was playing this in the car on the way up here, and we were just listening to it. And the one thing she's like, you know what's the worst thing is hearing someone kiss,
Ooh, yeah.
and it's like it's like.
No, stop it.
Yeah.
The audio of people kissing, just the audio, is so
My ear.
bad.
Get out of my ear.
Wow.
Ew.
This is where you need to play some little funky porn music in the background.
Well, I'm sure Lewis has some in his house somewhere.
Well, that was one of my notes. The music. This is a direct ripoff of the Get Shorty soundtrack. So I can't. This is a ripoff of this movie.
I know.
Everybody. This is a ripoff of
Okay.
that movie. The twangy guitar.
Yeah.
That's all Get Shorty, and it's all done badly. It's all like it's ripoff of I don't know.
So do you think it's like, you know how some years you get two versions of essentially the same movie? I'm trying to think of an
We're gonna get to
example.
that on our next
like
season,
like
too.
oh
Like
the
on our next
prestige,
episode,
like the
actually.
prestige and
The Illusionist, or no?
Yeah,
what was
like
the other one called?
the
The
Deep
Illusionist.
and Armageddon.
yes. There were
Yes.
two versions of the
Yeah,
same
two
movie,
big
and,
arguments.
and normally one movie winds up like
Yes.
winning out.
Leviathan and the Abyss.
Yes.
Yes.
That's another good
So
one.
you think like this
The
was
Abyss
like
was good.
this and
Oh,
Get Shorty, only this like was
Late,
delayed.
years later. That's what I was saying.
delayed in production or something.
Either that or like I would believe. So like
Well,
with
Get Shorty was 1995.
Oh wow. Okay,
That much earlier.
That
Wow.
much earlier. Okay,
I'm not a Get Shorty fan.
I love that movie.
I've never seen it.
I love that movie. I thought it was.
It's-
fucking
Is
great.
that the one with John
It's
Travolta and
a movie.
It's a movie.
where he's
Dennis
an
Farina? He's a
okay.
It's a. I mean, it's a good movie. I really like it. I think the
It's a movie.
soundtrack is fucking tits. But it's
Never heard you say that before.
The tits.
no.
Well,
not in this format.
Not with other people around.
Usually-
Not with the.
Usually it's
You-
Nobody is followed by. So in the Al Pacino scene, I wrote down. I was just like, I really wish Al Pacino had shot J Lo. Like that would have
I
been
wish he would've-
spectacular.
oh my
That
God.
would have made
Why
this
didn't-
movie
why didn't
infinitely
he?
better.
Why didn't he just
They
shoot
should've all
both
been
of
dead.
them?
He should have.
Well, 'cause she said they were going to essentially. She didn't say it, but she implied that they were just going to kill
Oh,
Brian.
yeah, Brian. Yeah.
Brian.
But dude, he doesn't need both
Because
of them
remember
to
they
kill him.
leave, and he's looking at
I
me.
thought she said they were just
I
going
don't-
to give him back and the whole thing.
No,
They
they're going to
said
take care of
they'd
it.
Take care of
Take
him.
care of him. Yeah.
And so then they're leaving, and
Why
he
would
says,
he believe they would do that when they
I-
couldn't even cut his
Cut
finger
his
off?
fucking finger off.
and then he says,
Well, he just intimidated the fuck out of him.
Well,
by shooting
because
Lewis in the
because
face.
J Lo was able to talk him down.
and then Ben Affleck says, "Are we really going to do this?" And she's like, "No, we're just going to let him go."
yeah.
Yeah,
And we're going to drive off.
Yeah, and then we're gonna get out of here.
Together somewhere.
Yeah.
because they know he's going to jail, so they don't have to worry about him anymore. I guess.
Allegedly.
Yeah.
I don't think he was going. I don't think
he
Al
was-
Pacino thinks he's going to jail.
Mm-mm.
No, I don't
he
think so.
said. No, he said I could have beat these charges, but now that someone tried to blackmail or
Oh, that's
extort
right. He
the
did
federal
say that.
prosecutor, it's created. I mean, it's the truth. Every FBI agent in the world will be looking for you.
Yeah.
So it's just creating nothing but problems.
Which
for
begs the
him.
question: how bad was the FBI in 2003 that they couldn't find this boy in his house?
Well, they never
when,
really left.
They should have called her
When
the
the
ex-
when
psychotic
the psychotic
ex-girlfriend-
ex-girlfriend was able to find him.
Man.
Like,
Can
Because I tell you why. Because this is a bad movie.
can we talk real quick about a scene that's kind of in the middle of the movie
Mhm.
where where Gigli takes Ricky J-Lo to meet his mother.
Oh, yes,
Oh,
And
yes.
I love Lainey
That's right.
Kazan. She's great, but again in this movie everybody fails as
When I thought the mom and Ricky
As
were
a
going to
scene.
make out there for a minute,
Well,
I was
she
very
hits
anxious.
on her.
Right?
She hits on her.
She's
Oh, big time.
experimented.
which goes back to that trope of everywhere this character
Part of
Ricky
that.
She's going to
goes.
bang everything she
That's
sees.
where part
Well,
of my-
everybody
the
wants her.
offensiveness
Yeah.
in the
Yes.
writing.
Well,
The
Everybody
writing of
wants
this
her.
movie is
The
offensive
UPS
parts.
girl wants her. His mom wants her. He
Absolutely.
wants her.
She's
The
the-
only one in this movie that doesn't want her is Brian.
No, he makes his penis sneeze. And
That is
she's
true.
a 17 out of a 10. Sleeping next to him.
When does he say this? I know it's in the movie, but where does he?
They're
what
in the
are they
car.
talking about when
They're-
he says that?
They're in the car.
No.
It was after the digital orb extrusion
No.
talk.
It was when the girlfriend had slit her wrist and they were sitting in the car watching her, and he's like, "Man, she's so gorgeous." And then Brian says, "Yeah, she makes my pee-pee sneeze." And then he doesn't realize what he's saying.
Uh-huh.
And then it keeps going on about like sneezing, about yeah, it makes my penis sneeze. And then he says, "Bless you." And then he looks at him. He's like, "Yeah, that's what I say when my penis sneezes." And then
Yeah.
it's like, as in, it just happened.
And then, but then,
That's so gross.
Gigli gives it a call back later after he sleeps with J Lo, and he says, "Bless you, penis." He picks up the covers.
Yeah.
He picks up the covers.
I
puts
forgot
it up, and
about
goes, "Bless you."
I made her skip this.
And
I got tired of watching.
J
it.
Lo goes, "What?" He goes,
The second time.
Yeah, he calls back.
The second
Brian
time you
Ship.
watched.
Well, I had a bless you moment the first time.
I don't want to hear about your bless you moments.
Gobble gobble.
Just real
No.
quick, he had that bless you moment all by
Oh,
himself.
by myself. Yes.
All by
Oh, guess what? We don't want to pay royalties.
I think that was plenty unrecognizable enough.
Okay. Good call.
Oh, burn. What were
So
we talking
what do you
about?
think? So
He's not wrong.
final thoughts. What? So I have a quick. Jesse, you gave us your version of what would have made this a better movie. What would have made this a better movie for you, Doug?
Them to just not make it. It was. I don't see a version of this movie that was going to be good. I see they tried to do a Rain Man, and I think you're right with the Get Shorty. It's just a mess, and
It's
I think
a
that
huge
adding
mess.
the rom-com version in it to make them like a couple.
Yeah.
Maybe if they didn't make them a couple,
They wanted to capitalize on it, and
And
almost each time the
Mhm.
studios try to do that, I'm basing this on nothing but just what I think. Is it doesn't work because you take an idea, someone had a spark,
Well, hold
someone
on.
had an idea and tried to put it out there, and then no,
We need a rom-com.
Hold
we
on.
want
They're
to
dating.
capitalize on this relationship. Even,
I just want to mention another movie right here.
okay,
Beverly Hills Cop. Right?
Yes.
It was a serious cop film vehicle written for Sylvester Stallone. And when
Was it
Stallone
really?
dropped
I didn't know
out-
that.
That became Cobra.
Once Stallone dropped out, they picked up Eddie
Eddie
Murphy,
Murphy?
Wait.
and it became a comedy.
it became Cobra.
Yeah. When Stallone dropped out, he went out and rewrote that script, and it became Cobra. But he was supposed to do Beverly Hills Cop.
But Beverly
I
Hills
can't-
Cop is a successful, great comedy
Absolutely.
movie.
yes,
So
It-
well,
it
yeah,
can
but they
work.
didn't.
It can.
Yeah.
You're
Well,
absolutely
no, it
right.
does.
No, but
a
they
talented
didn't.
writer can write a great script.
But they didn't try to shoehorn the relationship into that.
No, and they also
And that's what- and that's what
I
Jess
think-
was saying.
I think when Eddie Murphy was brought on, I guarantee you the plot pretty much stayed the same, and what they would the mystery and story stayed the same. They just added the comic.
I mean,
elements.
if, like-
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But there
Murphy.
wasn't a love interest.
If-
That's what I think.
They
they're-
tried
that's
to
what
they
they're
tried to
prob-
shoehorn
If
in. They
Judge
tried to shoehorn
Reinhold
that.
was, Christy Brinkley, that would be the equivalent of what they tried.
Oh, in Beverly Hills
Beverly
Cop.
Hills
I
Cop.
got you. Yeah. No, I can see that.
Yeah, what happened here is maybe they had a decent movie, but then they're like, oh, they're dating.
I don't
Oh,
see
it's a
it.
big
I don't
deal.
think it was
No.
a decent movie to begin with.
I don't.
No.
I've questioned how they looked at this, read this script, and said, "Oh, I want to do this movie," because I don't see how.
No,
That's why. That's where I got my
do-
theory of.
I do think Jennifer Lopez looked at it and thought, "Oh, this is a strong woman." Blah blah blah. Unfortunately, her accent and just the way she talked didn't come across as I think what she was shooting for. If someone else had been doing it, maybe it would have worked a little better. But when she was talking, I believed
they should have had
none
that
of
girlfriend
that she did it.
be
I
Ricky.
probably.
She seemed more tougher. Yes, I don't.
And then Ben Affleck was just a mess. I don't understand what he was doing. And I've liked him. I liked him in Argo. I liked him in
Voyage of
Batman
the
vs.
Mimi.
Superman. Voyage of the Mimi.
Revenge of the Mimi. It's Revenge of the Mimi.
Armageddon.
Oh, and Pearl Harbor.
I don't think I've ever watched Pearl Harbor.
Don't.
I tried
Don't.
once.
It's
Don't.
ugh.
I tried once.
So,
Okay.
what do you think? What would make this better?
I can't. I don't.
Nothing.
The amount of they would have to start from scratch and rewrite the whole movie and just pick a direction. Is it going to be serious? Is it going to be a rom com? Is it going to be a love
Yeah.
story? Pick one, because it wasn't really even a love story.
Exactly.
It wasn't a comedy, because if all the stuff that was supposed to be funny felt incredibly flat. Because I think he was supposed to be the comic relief, and it didn't come across that way. He just
No.
came across as cringy and
Idiot.
needy and
Yeah.
a moron.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I the amount of rewriting and
Yeah. It would be a different movie.
it would be a completely different movie. Yeah.
Andy?
Yeah. I don't think I could fix this film. It's a total loss to me. I mean, maybe if Ben Affleck wasn't in it,
if it was just J-Lo?
if you took Gigli out of the movie,
If
and
it was just J-Lo. No,
If it was-
this is
if it was
Andy.
just Ricky?
This is Andy. If it was J-Lo doing yoga for 90
For 90
minutes.
minutes.
and read
Perfect
some of her
movie.
book, yeah,
Some of
Being
Showgirls from
peace.
Showgirls in it with J-Lo.
Yeah.
yeah.
Much better movie.
No,
And you, Kevin?
I agree. I think the only way that this movie could be made better is if you kept it as Get Shorty.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is 0 out of 5 icebergs or whatever we're
Yeah.
going to do. This was the war. There's like
This is-
0
this
out
is-
of 5 penguins
Yeah.
recommend this movie.
I-
Yeah, flippers down.
Absolutely would not.
All
Flippers down. All
Right,
flippers
but when
down.
we get to the final order, I don't know that I'm placing this one last.
Well,
Or first.
When I do my final list, it will be over how good the movies were. So I hate Twilight. It'll always be the movie I hate the most. But if I was going to say which movies were the worst I've seen,
Absolutely.
that's how I'm going to do my list. Now, I'm not going to spoil it what I think my worst movie is.
All right.
Well, I have some
please, go
gossip
ahead.
and
Oh,
backstory.
yeah. Give us that.
This is Jesse's galloping gossip.
The galloping gossip. Let's do
it.
Are you galloping?
We did a melon. Where's the
We need
melon?
some coconuts.
The
Some
coconuts. Okay, so I just want to give you all a little background. So they met on the set. They were very involved with each other's lives, these two. He was doing her videos. He was in Jenny from the Block. And, they're doing these. They did Jersey Girl came out right after this, too, which is a movie that they both appeared in. She was out of it about 15 minutes in. Liv Tyler is the love interest, but it set that movie up for failure. It was already going to fail. Like Kevin Smith movie, pretty much dead on arrival because of the fallout of Gigli. But yeah, he gave her, he bought her a 6.1 carat pink diamond ring. $1.2 million.
That's it.
That's it. Because
Cheap bastard. You're supposed to
A-Rod.
get 3 months' salary.
Yeah, they made $12
Well,
million.
after Gigli, that's all he had.
Well, he made $12 million on this movie.
He made
so-
more money than her. He made 12.5. She made 12. I know that from you. I remembered that. There's a reason that
Damn, Doug,
I
she just
remembered
called you
that.
out.
I was surprised
Well,
that she
no,
made
that-
so close to his.
Are you really?
I was surprised that she made so close to his
Well,
pay
I mean-
Well,
at that time.
You know what's fucked up, though, is that it was such a little amount
That's
above
what- see-
because it has to be above.
That's what I thought.
That's
too.
the fucked
I
up
thought
part.
it was more like
'Cause he
we're
has to be
throwing
more.
you.
Why
at-
not make it
yes.
eat? Why not both of them? 12
Yeah.
million. 12 million.
They were
12
both-
million's a round number. No.
They were
gotta be
both
12.5.
equally in demand. That's what
That's
I
the
thought. I
fucked
thought
up.
that was a slight too, making it just a little bit
less.
more.
Mm.
So,
Yeah, I didn't see it that way, but yeah, that's fucked up.
Yeah.
yeah,
That's the negotiation brain going, no, the dude's got somebody, there's a producer in there who goes,
The guy
no,
has to
Ben
make
needs more. Ben needs more.
Because he's the name.
I think so.
He's Gigli.
He's Gigli, so he must make more.
He should get less. He should pay me for watching
He
this
should.
movie.
He should come over here and apologize to us for
He
having
should
watched
apologize
it.
to all the people that spent that $6 million.
I want to see in every movie he's in at the end credits to be like, sorry for Gigli.
No, but it's got to be in person. He's got to be on
Oh,
camera.
it's like an
going,
after credit scene?
Yeah, like an end credit scene going, I'm sorry for Gigli.
Well, okay. So I don't know. That's at the time I kind of put myself into 2003, 2004, looked it up, and I mean, just kind of relived those days of Benifer, the two-headed monster known as Benifer. During the movie came out, it tanked. We talked about this. They stayed together. What really broke them up was he reportedly went to a Vancouver strip club while he was on location, and she heard about it, and they just couldn't move on. But she wrote a couple songs about. So this album came out, and she was in love with
She was
Ben
in
Affleck
love.
when this album came out. So I just wanted to read you. I found the lyrics. This song is called "Dear Ben." Okay, ready? Dear Ben, I love you. You're perfect. A manifestation of my dreams. You make my body feel about a million different things.
Bless you,
Can you feel
penis.
it?
Bless you, penis.
So here's where I was going with this. So after Ben was busted at the Vancouver strip club, I imagine that J-Lo was probably singing some different lyrics after that, and she didn't write them. These come courtesy of the Jay Giles Band. I've had the blues, the reds and the pinks. One thing for sure,
Love stinks.
love stinks.
Yeah.
Love stinks.
There's mutants at table of 9.
So and to end it, I just read this today, like on the news. She is Jennifer Lopez is actually working on a new movie called Hustlers, and she's a stripper.
Mhm.
So she's been taking pole dancing classes, And but the only reason this made news was not because of this movie. It's because the news was it's already been confirmed that no nudity. Not going to do it.
She's playing a stripper.
She's no
in
nudity.
a movie about a stripper.
She's
with no
already
nudity.
confirmed.
Demi
It's
Moore
out
did it.
there.
But she had nudity.
Yeah, she
Did
She
she-
was
did she-
naked. Oh yeah, she was.
Oh,
naked.
did she?
Yes, very much.
That was right after she had
yeah.
purchased the tatas.
That's right. Yeah.
So
I
anyway,
don't know if
that's
she
something to look
purchased
forward to, guys.
Who,
Hustlers.
Demi Moore?
Yeah. Did she purchase? I don't know.
Yeah, no, she bought him for the movie. Then she showed him off in the movie.
Okay.
Watch the old Blame It on Rio, the pre Demi Moore.
You must have
nudity.
only seen striptease on like
TNT.
VH1 or
Yeah.
something.
I don't think I've ever seen striptease on cable or anything. It's always
I
been on like
believe
TNT or VH1.
we left the theater. I didn't make it to the whole film.
I know it's a bad movie.
Yep.
All right,
Well,
you guys.
that wraps it up.
So, Gigli, I think it's a collective flippers down, thumbs down.
Yeah.
Gang,
Yep.
it was a long haul for Gigli. Thank you, Jesse, for making us do that.
Yeah.
No problem.
Gang, that's it for our Gigli episode. Stay tuned. Visit us on the websites. Visit us on the internets. See us on Twitter at Dirty Presents. You can visit us on the Instagrams at The Dirty Penguin Presents. You can see us on the Facebooks at The Dirty Penguin Presents. Go like our stuff, share our things, watch us on the YouTubes.
Oh, and email us on what you think about these movies, because I'm kind of curious on what y'all think out there.
Yeah, go to our
knows,
Facebook page,
Leave some
interact with us on our
comments.
Facebook page, leave some comments, whatever you got to do. Talk to us. We want to hear it. We want to hear your Dirty Penguin top 5 movies you hate. What is it? Chat with us. Dirty Penguin Presents on all the things except for Twitter. The Dirty Presents. Or Dirty Presents on Twitter.
On our Conway tweet.
Exactly. On our Conway tweet, it's at Dirty Presents. Gang, we're going to close down the igloo for this episode, and we'll see you next time.
Gobble gobble.
All right. See you next time for our episode, The Last American Virgin.
Yeah.